Hello, my name is Louise Barks and my Pecha Kucha is about current trends within the food festival industry. I'll be covering two main trends within this industry, highlighting their advances and critiquing them. Festivals are places of celebration, community, inspiration and innovation. There has been increased popularity of food events in recent years, which in part has stemmed from food festivals keeping up to date with consumer trends and technology and being an ever-adapting industry. Studies show companies that do not change can be driven into bankruptcy because they fail to adapt quickly enough, such as Blockbuster Video. The number of international holidays we take is on the rise. In 1950, 25 million international holidays were recorded, and by 2014, this figure had escalated to over 1 billion, which shows the scale of globalization as budget airlines have facilitated us to travel cheaper and more than ever. Consequently, people have much more knowledge of food from different cultures, and tasting these foods can be a big motivation to travel. Food festivals now hold many more offerings from around the world and are making these foreign foods a norm. Speaking about food tourism, Hall suggests for some it is the prime motivation to travel and that geographic barriers are dropping as the world is entering the 21st century economy. This adds culture into our society, which is a positive, but also a threat to local businesses and producers, as trade can be taken by supermarkets shipping produce from faraway countries. Globalisation and mass networking are enhancing our global awareness and understanding, and our world feels increasingly small. Consumers know that they can get almost any type of product from anywhere in the world at any time at a relatively low cost. The world today has advanced so much that we are tiring of generic products and having fast delivery is no longer a novelty. Driven by the idea that yesteryear was somehow a better and altogether more inviting place. The effects of globalisation have triggered us to feel nostalgia. People relish going back to simpler times, seeing stallholders face to face, reminiscing to the authenticity of when they used to go to a greengrocer and butcher for fresh local produce, and attending a food festival does this. The fresh produce, sourced and cooked in the local area, can develop an attachment to the area and its identity, therefore strongly connected to senses on place and community pride in the products that they produce, which demonstrates the shift in going back to local producers for quality products, which is a big attraction that food festivals showcase. Social media. The ownership and use of smartphones are booming. In 2008, 80% of the UK consumers agreed that all they want a smartphone to do is make calls and send texts. Now 80% of consumers worldwide own smartphones. Through blogs, Facebook events, sponsored posts on Instagram and dedicated social media accounts, food festivals can market themselves, make announcements and reach out to attendees and keep them informed. Over the past decade, food has increasingly come to the fore in consumption. More people are identifying as foodies than ever before. There is a rise in food magazines, cookbooks, food blogs and TV shows. The foodie lifestyle is becoming more trendy. The popularised lifestyle of food has meant the growth in attendance and organisation of food festivals. By 2030, it is predicted 80 to 90% of the world will be on social media. Failing to keep track means alienation and non-presence of social media is an increasingly costly eccentricity. More and more of us will be using social media to learn about things in our area and connect with others. For food festivals, it would be one of the best ways to communicate with their attendees and for them to share experiences from the events. Each year, the UK festival industry produces 19,778 tonnes of CO2 emissions, excluding travel. The UK has a target of a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2025. Environmental responsibility is important to festival goers according to audience survey data. As we are now more aware of the devastating effects of climate change, food festivals are now making a big effort to lower their CO2 emissions and make their carbon footprint smaller. This is to please their attendees who are becoming more conscious consumers and turn to brands for innovation and leadership on environmental issues. Here are some of the main ways to make a food festival more eco-friendly or green. Sustainable approaches to energy, using recyclable packaging and serveware, the use of reusable cups and sustainable travel policies. Food festivals which source food as locally as possible cut down on travel emissions and food miles. If something is more sustainable and better for the environment, it has been shown people do not mind spending a little more. Last year, 2018, British people spent 8.2 billion on food and drink from ethical sources. Changes are being made, but we still have a long way to go. Price is the principal barrier to buying ethical food and drink, with too expensive being the biggest reason people do not decide to buy ethically. Especially for young people who have less disposable income, this is a problem which needs to be addressed by the industry, as ethical buying should not be a luxury of the rich. As we are now travelling more than ever, this is a contradicting message that we are trying to cut down our CO2 emissions and live more environmentally friendly. As more sensibility sometimes gives way to price sensitivity, suggesting a contradiction as price for some will ultimately make up our minds on whether to take the trip or not. A huge rise in veggie and vegan festivals have emerged. In 2017, the UK saw a 987% increase in demand for meat-free food. Livestock produces 18% of greenhouse gases. Social media has brought veganism to attention in consumers' minds and has become cool. It is endorsed by celebrities such as Ariana Grande and Jennifer Lopez. The whole field-to-fork process of rearing, transportation, processing, packaging, storage and cooking of meat produces more carbon emissions than vegetables. Many environmentally conscious people are choosing to cut down their meat consumption in an attempt to reverse climate change and also to avoid animal cruelty. Food festivals are cashing in on the veggie coin, as well as helping to be more environmentally friendly. Recent controversies relating to both undecided ingredients and food has meant we are more distrustful of big corporations and supermarkets. Consumers like to give their trust back to local produce and is favouring homemade foods and craft drinks such as microbrewers. Thank you for watching.